My name is Crystal Russell and I teach 10th grade English at Timken High School. You need to choose between a website or a book. That's usually... today's lesson was a lesson on MLA documentation, creating a works cited page, and instead of using the general MLA handbook, we decided to use a web-based easybib.com website that allows students to cite their information much more quickly and efficiently. This is actually the end of about day 6. I would think we've been working on our research papers. Students have been blogging short snippets of their research papers and submitting their research and their findings through a blog. I comment on their blogs and send them back to them. And so today we've really just taken the time to use the culminating lesson of we have our research done, so now we have to give our credible sources credit for where we got our information. Today was really kind of the wrapping up. We've done all the research. Now we have to give credit for the info we found.
Will you be able to check put the author's name in it too?
Yes. Because see, I'm not finding my book. This book is not well known enough. If your book is well known enough, it's finding it sometimes. If it's not, then you have to cite it on your own. Okay? So because I can't find it, I'm going to click where it says manual entry. And then that's going to ask me for all of that other information that you just said, Ricky. So I'm citing the whole book, and it's asking me for the author. So the author of this is at the bottom. It's Russ Parker. So I'm going to type in Russ Parker. So our goal today is for students to understand that any information that they find that is not their own has to be cited as a source on the last page of their research paper. So their major goal was to make sure that any information that they used and tracked that they have cited on their works cited page, and that they've created that works cited page correctly based on MLA documentation and format. So for my publisher, I'm just going to put in Rosen, and then for my city, I'm going to put New York. Okay. So technology has changed the research process for our students because it allows them to actually go through the process of researching, to take time. Usually we might have a couple days where we can get into a computer lab, and so you have 2 days and you have to hurry up and get as much information as you can. Whereas with this project, we could focus really on one section at a time, and they could learn the process of researching instead of having to hurry up and get a bunch of information, and we'll try to do the best that we can with it, whatever we can. So having computers every single day that are accessible to our students has been a huge change in just their growth and ability to research projects. Having the blogs to communicate with students either at school during different class periods or from home has been a change, because we can have some constant conversation with students. Students, they might not have gotten their research section done for the day or their typing done for the day, but they're like, well, I can submit that to you anytime during the day, right? And so that's been a lot different. It's been nicer for me on the teaching end because I'm not taking as many papers home. I just need to have my laptop go home with me, and I can look it up, and instead of taking 60 papers home with me, I'm just taking the laptop home and opening it up and seeing what did they do for the day. Okay. Any other questions?
No.
Tess?
What if we don't have like an author and you want to make one up?
If you don't have an author, that's a good question. If you can't find authors or publication dates, that kind of stuff, you give as much information that you can give for a works cited page. If you can't find it and it's a website, I'll come around and we can hunt around and see if we can find it. And we might have to change it depending on when we put them together, how many.
Ms. Russell, it does such a thing. You just gotta have like a whole HTTP code.
The biggest challenge of bringing technology into the classroom is once we have it, in the classroom, it actually functioning properly when it's in the classroom. For example, some students might have been doing a project on abortion or gay rights or gun control, and all of those things are blocked by our servers. They're not doing anything malicious, they're just trying to get information. So trying to teach them real world skills when you have unrealistic filters makes that a little bit more difficult for us. Oh, so I just found it. Did you go to EasyBib? Where's that at? Right here? No. When we first started blogging with our students, you had maybe 1 or 2 students who even understood how to blog or the lingo of creating a new post and commenting and that sort of thing. And so I might have gotten half of the class at best to post and to send their information to me. And then once we really started utilizing the blog more, students understood, I'm supposed to comment on what you've said and actually bring more to the topic, not just, hey, I really agree with that, or I don't know, or that was stupid. Their comments became well, what if you considered this? Or did you look at it this way? Sort of thing. So they're challenging each other a little bit more. So I guess the more that I've seen students engaging in our blog discussions and actually turning their work in via the blog has shown me that the technology is working, that it's getting to some of those students that regular paper pencil writing isn't going to get to because they've tapped out, but for some reason if they can type it, they'll type it and they'll get you work. So that's how I've assessed it. Technology is working. The biggest stuff that didn't go right is just that our computers kept freezing. So they just get frustrated when your computer keeps freezing, and so you have to kind of divert. What can we do then? What do you want to do? Is there another part of your project that you want to work on today to get that part done so that you're not wasting an entire day? So that was probably the biggest thing that didn't go right, is just so many people were on the same site at one time that it kind of just bogged us down a little bit.